Hello, everybody. We are Creative Crits. We are here at Genghis Khan. Welcome to the stream and the game today, where we are going to be playing Space 1889. We at Creative Crits do a lot of fun role-playing game stuff. If you want to give us a follow or a like on YouTube and Twitch, please come join us. And we've also got a great, fun Discord server where we do a lot of soft role-play and just general community engagement. Today, we are here with Darrell Hayhurst, the lead developer of the new Space 1889. This is a new edition of an old and classic game that kind of takes Victorian sciences and puts it in a sci-fi setting, and we're really excited to be here playing it today.
Yeah.
We have a couple sponsors for the game today. We have C4 Labs that have made us these lovely dice trays that we are playing with here today. And over there, I'm going to hand it over to Jenny to explain the game board, which is a very fun piece of tech that we'll be using as well.
Yeah, so game board is basically a tabletop console. It has affiliated touch drivers, everything. So we have very complicated touch system, which allows us to do physical piece pairing, over-the-board integration, modular boards for extended gameplay, a lot of stuff like that. So it's just a really cool product. You should check it out.
Yes, definitely go take a look at that. We've also got...
We're also sponsored by Mithril Armory, which we will be giving away more 10D20s during this very session.
Those, for those that don't know, are these like little flat metal D20s that you get to assemble yourself, and they're hollow and sleek and cute. And then finally, we've got 1985 Games as one of our sponsors for today. They've got a lot of cool stuff on their website, primarily these awesome paper map pieces. If you make an order, you'll just get tons of them that you can use in your games. They're very cool pieces for RPGs in general. I will now hand it over to Darrell to explain what we're doing today.
Yeah, so this is Space 1889. The setting is everything that the Victorians thought was scientifically accurate was. So space is not empty. It is filled with an energy called the ether. And Thomas Edison, among others, managed to harness this energy, and they created a drive. It doesn't work in the air, but it does work if you can get up high enough into the stratosphere where air thins out and the ether, fades in. You can engage that, and you can go very, very fast. And of course, they built a balloon, they go up into the sky, they engage their engine, and the first thing they do is they use that engine to fly to Mars. And as expected, Mars is not dry, it's dry, but it's not dead. It's filled with Martians and cities, and they have an amazing plant called liftwood. And liftwood, once cut and treated, deflects gravity. And that is why there are flying ships all over Space 1889, because they're the best sky galleons, they're called. Our new edition is after Space 1889. So we're moving the years forward, a few, not more than 10, but it's not quite 1889 anymore. And the idea is between 1889, where we've gamed for the last 30 years, those of us that have played previous editions, the ether was poisoned. And for a few years, the worlds were cut off. And space travel was difficult. That effect is mysterious, and one of the main mysteries of the current game is trying to figure out what happened. The poisoned ether is fading, and now space travel is starting to kick up again. And so new explorers are able to launch from world to world with the main goal of finding out what has been happening on different planets that we haven't been in direct contact with for years in some cases. And the whole notion is, if you're a fan of the old game, that lets you explore these worlds in the same way that a new player is exploring them. So it might be the same, it might be different. You're finding out together. That's the basic setup. Where we're going to start, and the main mechanism for that is a club called the Empyrean Society. And they used to be the Explorer Society, and they've the Explorer Society has faded and become this other thing, the Empyrean Society. They are all about space travel. This is a place for adventurers, and it is a place for adventurers from any world, from any civilization, and from any species. So, in the old game, you were pretty much British. Now, man, it's everybody. And I'll let the cast introduce themselves and the characters that they're playing, and you'll get a little bit of a feel for just how broad the scope of the Empyrean Society is.
I'm Tracy Sizemore. I've written for stuff for Pinnacle, and I've got my own podcast called Savage Interludes. And I'm playing Petra Luminatosivos. And I'm a drobate, which is a species living on Luna, right?
Yes.
The moon of Earth.
Yeah, for those from the old game, they're the Moon Men.
Right. And I'm a spy, and I'm working for the Empyrean Society for now, while I try to find my legendary lost tribes. So, I'm sort of half in.
I get you. I wonder if we know all of that. I'm Lex Krow. I'm with Creative Crits, as you might have guessed from the intro. And I'm going to be playing Tham Karoon, who is a tortured and exiled Craig Baravar, essentially a space pirate. And I am looking to become a space pirate captain of my own to prove all those people that kind of ousted me wrong at the end of the day.
Tham is a High Martian for players of the old game. They used to be solely the province of bad guys. Now they're available as heroes too.
Is it Tham or Tam?
However you want to say it.
Okay.
I'm Casey Trinkle, also with Creative Crits, and I will be playing Guy Saxon, former sergeant in the Royal Army accused of treason, now a soldier of fortune looking to clear his name.
Awesome.
I'm Jennifer. I'm playing Sinjin Khan. So Sinjin is Masters of Energy invited him, so he's basically a genius and builder, and basically that all was a massively big mistake.
Yeah, so Sinjin's an inventor. One of the big things with the old game was being able to put together your own strange Victorian science fiction equipment. And that's what that character's all about. And the mention of the Masters of Energy, they're one of the new villainous factions coming up. And they are filled with guys like Rober the Conqueror, some guy named Nemo, people like that. They are used to using that technology to try to, in their own mind, better the worlds. From our point of view, they'd be maybe a little bit pushing that too far into the fascist side of things. So, the Empyrean Society are kind of pushing back against the Master.
Yeah, bunk that.
Also want to clarify that I'm not a spy of the society. That's not my vocation. I'm not spying on you. That's my skill set.
I see. Yeah. I was about to be like, now player knowledge versus character.
And I'm a big believer in, even if she was a spy against you guys, I'll let everybody know, because that's how dramatic irony works. Yeah. It's no fun if Tracy's the only one who knows she's messing over people. Right? We've all got to know. That's the enjoyment of it.
100% agree.
So this is a very brief scenario. It's just kind of a little taste, so people can see what we're doing with the system. There were three previous versions of Space 1889. Every single one of them used a completely different system. So in moving into a new edition, it is a fresh system designed to call back to what I think are the best elements of all of the previous versions. So there will be some things that are pretty familiar, and some things that are like, wow, that's completely new. Everything that's new, it was designed around the original idea of Space 1889 and trying to bring out that cool Victorian adventure that we all wanted to have, back then and now. This scenario is called Launch Day. It was written by one of our authors, Rachel Savicki. It starts off, we're in London. We're going to be at the Empyrean Society Club on James Street. You all have gotten invitations. It's up to you whether you know each other from beforehand or whether you're meeting each other now for the first time. But you've been invited, the little card with the Victorian fringe around it, reached each of you like, you've been cordially invited. to a meeting at the Empyrean Society Clubhouse on St. James Street. And when you arrive, the doorman welcomes you all in, and as a drobate and as a High Martian, not everyone always treats you the best, but the Empyrean Society is a haven from that. Everyone is polite to you here. Like this is your home away from home, on Earth. And you're served tea, and you're ushered up to the room where Dr. Lavinia Shaw, is receiving you all. And you know that she's one of the members of the Empyrean Society, and there's a couple of notable figures that are around in London. She's one of them, and the other is Sir Jack Armstrong. Anyone from the old game, he was one of the first. He's the first human to set foot on Mars. He went on that original journey with Thomas Edison. And they've had a minor falling out because he was the first on Mars, and Edison's like, I was first too. But, and Edison is invited into the Empyrean Society and has yet to decline. So he's a potential ally if you work on it. So yeah, she invites you in and is like, oh, thank you all for coming.
Thank you for having us, Lavinia.
That's Dr. Shaw.
Dr. Shaw, sorry. I apologize.
Sir Jack isn't as stickly about his title as I am. It's quite an achievement on Earth to have gotten a doctorate.
Pleasure to meet you, Doctor. I am Guy Saxon.
Pleasure to meet you too. I apologize for the rather abrupt summons, but you're the only members in the city at present, and I would like to request that you help us with a rather unique situation that's come up.
Unique how?
Well, we were contacted some time ago by a young inventor, Mr. Ambrose Gilbert. He's been working on an invention, and he calls it the frictionless ether translator. Any of you ether scientists?
Afraid not. I think
Yes.
we have one down.
So you would know.
I do.
You would know that around the planets, as they rotate the sun, there is a trail of ether, a wake. It's very turbulent, and most ships can only land on the forward side of a planet, or have to fly around, and it's very inconvenient, and it's what stops us from using ether engines from city to city travel so much, because you'd be going through that wake, and it could cause tremendous amounts of damage.
Yeah, totally knew that.
You knew that, yes, as an ether scientist.
It's got to have someone that knows these things.
And you do know that. So one of the callbacks from the old game is we have skill cascades. So everyone's got a science ability, but whether you're low or high, you will only know specific sciences if you've unlocked the appropriate cascade. Biology for doctors, ether lets you get into some of the very strange physics around gravity and energy usage, including electricity, because electricity can be a little weird in Space 1889. Mechanisms has gears and bobs and clockwork and steam is all under mechanisms. So these are all different in chemistry, all different branches of science. So not every scientist is the same. So what Mr. Gilbert is invented is a device, his translator. It detects the turbulent ether and it modulates the output of an ether propeller consummate to that to reduce the turbulence and reduce the risk of crash. We think it could be a very, very useful device. In fact, I thought it was so useful that I loaned him a very expensive crystal from the asteroid fields that stores electrical energy, a glow crystal. Kind of priceless. He is about to show off his device to some potential investors, I would very much appreciate it if you would go to the demonstration and protect our common interest, the glow crystal and his device, and make sure that nothing untoward happens, and that Mr. Gilbert finds a sponsor for his inventions that will be equally friendly to the Empyrean Society.
Do you expect some sort of nefarious play?
You know Earth as well as anyone. There's always trouble brewing somewhere in the solar system.
Fair enough.
Okay.
That's why I always keep my weapon nearby. Of course, I left it at the door this time.
It is a formal affair.
Well, there's a coat check, is there not?
Yes.
Yes, I definitely use that for all of my weapons.
Yeah, you're just like, okay, formal, whatever. So, yeah, and she gives you some details. So the meet and greet is going to happen in a place called the Chimney.
Okay.
London's been it's probably the most advanced city on Earth at this time, and the Chimney is an airport or an etherport, and it's a massive structure, almost like the Eiffel Tower, like all girders and black iron, and it rises up, and steam and smoke is coming out of it, and airships land on different gantries and dock there, and they hover there on their liftwood. It's been a while since there's been any new liftwood on Earth, so most airships are dirigibles. Not all. There are still liftwood vessels. They're the most precious and advanced things on the planet. Liftwood has a lifespan, and a lot of ships are reaching the end of that lifespan, so it's a big deal that spaceflight's becoming possible again. Everybody wants to get back to Mars and get more liftwood because they've never managed to make it grow anywhere else.
Interesting.
About the only place to get it are the Craigs, which is why no one likes the High Martians, and High Martians don't like anyone else.
Listen, there are trees. I don't know what you want.
All right, we want liftwood.
So pay us more.
That? So, we got up on the map there. You guys are on the Empyrean Society on James Street. You got to make it over to the chimney. Walk. So
Water taxi?
I'd frankly prefer not to walk.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we should hire a coach. Maybe the Empyrean Society will spring for that as an expense of our engagement.
Oh, so you're gonna push them to maybe like, hey, can you get us transport there? All right.
I won't be very good at
Seems
it, but
fair
I'll try
to me.
it.
I think that's a valid try. So I mentioned there's abilities like science and things like this. This is going to be the first check that we make. This sounds like a charm, attempted charm. So you're pushing Dr. Shaw. You're like, you should get a thing. Before you roll, so everyone's got a charm rating from 1 to 4 up to 6. 6 is like legendary awesome. So very similar scale to the old game. 1 is bad, 6 is great. At this level, most characters have their best thing as a 4. 3 is decent. 2 is okay, and 1's bad. What's your charm?
My charm is 1.
Okay, so this is not going to go well. But
Probably.
we're going to let you try.
Good.
And here's how dice rolling works. You got your ability. It's got a number. That's how many d6s you roll. 5 is good. 6 is great. With 1 die, your odds aren't great. But before you roll, everybody gets cogs. You get 3 cogs.
3 cogs.
3 cogs.
They're so...
Yours. You're going to be able to use these.
I don't know a role player that doesn't love getting handed a physical token.
You're going to use these. If you roll your dice and you don't like it, you can spend a cog. You can pick up any of those dice that you want, good, bad, and different, and re-roll those and take the new result. You can keep spinning them as long as you want.
Oh.
Until you're out.
Yes.
When you're out, maybe we'll talk about traits and how you get new ones. So Padra's like, yeah, since this is such an important job, maybe you should give us a coach, huh?
Dr. Shaw, we really, it is part of our engagement, and we do have expenses. It seems very reasonable that we would ask for such a thing.
So she's got 1 die for charm. As the GM or referee in Space 1889 terms, as the ref, I can be like, you know what? That's a valid argument. She made it well. I'm gonna give her a bonus for doing well. That gives you an extra D6.
An extra D6.
So roll it. Let's see what happens.
All right.
Oh!
Wow.
Sixes explode. When I say a 6 is great, that means you get to keep rolling.
So I'll roll another die?
Yep. Yeah. So, great roll. It works. Dr. Shaw is like, yes, of course. I suspected that you might ask for such a thing. We've already gotten a steam coach in reserve for you to go take to the chimney. So there's no expensive outlay, no time, no fuss.
Very good, very good. The Empyrean Society impresses.
Of course.
Unfailingly.
Why does it keep doing
And everyone moves from there to the chimney. And as you get there, again, this massive tower, and there are dirigibles floating in. A lot of air travel between Europe and London. There's some overseas travel, and an occasional ether flyer. And you can even spot from the ground, especially St. John. Go ahead and give me a sense roll. This is your perception.
Not great. That's 6 total.
Well, any 5s or any 6s?
Nope.
All right. So
Like
yeah,
I said, not great.
there's only a few airships docked right now. None of them catch your eye as ether flyers instead of just kind of the terrestrial air vessels. And there's a few dock workers like moving supplies in and out. There's a flower peddler out there, at the front, like going on a journey like a flower for the trip, that.
Why, yes, indeed, I would like a flower. No one knows when the time might arise when a flower might just do the trick.
It's 2 shillings, sir.
2 shillings?
You did take the flower, sir.
This is your fault. You took the flower, give him the shillings.
It would be unlike me to return my own choice now. Here, your 2 shillings.
Thank you, sir. And they kind of disappear. And the
Flower immediately wilts.
No, he's got a little flower there. So, the urchin sort of disappears off into the crowd of workers, and they're just hauling stuff, mostly steam canisters, because one of the fantastic things about steam is it can be mechanically stored and keep its energy. So you've got these just high pressure canisters filled with this steam, and when you let off steam, the lack of pressure lets more steam generate from all of that, forced energy. So these things are all over the place. Internal combustion engines would normally exist in the world by now, not in Space 1889. Like, gasoline's just not a thing. Rudolf Diesel has invented tripods instead of his engine. So these are a little different here. You won't see any gas engines in these parts, but you will see steam everywhere and people shoveling coal and moving supplies around. And there's entry ports, and there's even a bobby kind of walking around the outside perimeter. Ticket sales, that whole thing, and just ramps going up in and stairs going up.
What's the thingy we're supposed to protect?
This device, I don't know. He's presenting it, correct?
I imagine he has it with him, or under protections of some kind.
Yeah.
Imagine if he's presenting it, it shouldn't be hard to find out where then.
It should be on a ship that can ether fly. Am I wrong?
That would be accurate.
That would be how I would present it. So we'd probably need to ask somebody maybe where the ship that might have this thing.
You there, sir? Sir!
Yeah.
We're looking for a ship
To hire?
fitting of this description. There's a presentation. That should be happening today.
Oh, yeah, the
must go by.
presentation. That's up on the... That's on the Kingfisher. You press?
Do I what?
Not exactly. We're not press.
We're a how do you say relevant party?
Oh, interested
that.
parties. Yeah, that's the Kingfisher. It's on level 37.
Thank you very much.
Is there an elevator?
There is an elevator. That is within the technological.
I shan't walk 37
There are gantries and external things and all that, but there is a lift. Yes.
Sweet.
So yeah, you take it up to level 37, and it opens up, and OSHA does not exist yet. So there's just kind of like
There's like no railing.
yeah, there's like no railing. There's ramps, and there's like a cold wind blowing through, and there's smog and like smoke and steam and all of that coming out. You get a fantastic view of London, though. You know what you can see, like the 1 mile of it, that you can see through the air. But you're pretty high up, and they're out on the edge of the gantry. Is clearly an ether flyer. It's docked. Its port is open. There's the entryway. It doesn't look like a very large ship.
Well, it's less impressive than I thought, but maybe it's more advanced than it seems.
Less impressive. Look at it.
Well, you're the
I'm
flyer,
looking
right?
at it. What do you want me to say?
Well, I mean, I don't even see enough armaments on there for.
So go ahead and give me. So this is where I was saying abilities, where I'd be like, I would say make a sense roll if you want to take a look at what you can always pitch and say, I think I should be able to use combat instead.
I do have artillery on my casket.
Oh,
So,
yeah. So go ahead and roll whichever one you want.
is that with sense?
Sure.
Or- okay.
Sense or combat, your choice.
Combat, thank
How
you.
well equipped would you say that is, Thom?
2 successes.
So, yeah, you're looking it over. Most ether flyers are armed.
Yes.
A, there are space pirates, but B, there's a lot of things that can happen in space, and the game
debris.
goes very deep into that. The journey's half the fun, right? And there's way more than just asteroid strikes and things like that can happen. One of the big threats out in the ether is called crystallized ether.
Right.
And it's like almost crystalline shards of glass. They're difficult to spot. And as you're coming up on them at these really high speeds, you need to shoot it with a cannon to break it. Otherwise, you're going to hit it, and you're not going to be able to slow down and turn. So most ether ships are in fact armed, and this one is no exception to that. No exception. It is very lightly armed. It's a 1-pounder pom-pom gun, just right on the nose. You would not want to get in a fight with this. It's just enough to break crystallized ether, not much for a fight.
But
It's a
supposedly it
tourist
has
ship.
some. Right. Supposedly it has some very high technology on it.
Yes, obviously he seems quite confident in it.
At the
He's got
back,
outfitted so poorly.
the ether propeller out on the back is definitely an Edison patent. They're very distinctive. Those are the fast ones. There's an Armstrong patent engine, and there's a Zeppelin patent engine, and some inventors can make their own, which can be even better. But yeah, the most expensive and fastest is the
Why we're
Edison.
here.
Well done. I don't see as why we should waste time. Let's go.
Let's go meet this guy.
Just find this.
Yeah, so in you go. In the interior of this ship, it's like I say, it's relatively small, but it's been opened up. And what would have been crew quarters and the galley and things like that have been extended to a single kind of sitting room. And there's, portals going forward and aft and down. But this is the main room, and there are 3 people in this room. One clearly looks like a lord of some kind. Young man, but just by his mode of dress, looks like he's kind of important. Another is a fairly prim-looking woman, also in high-class dress. And then the third one, another human woman, but she's more in street clothing, and it looks like she's got a notepad with her. And they actually look kind of bored and nonplussed. They're actually bickering a little bit, like, I thought the scientist would be here. I was expecting to ask him questions, and then they see you, and they're like coming in, and they're asking, Mr. Gilbert?
No,
Saxon. Name's Guy Saxon.
You had questions?
Yes. When is the demonstration going to start?
Oh, I can't be bothered with that.
well, we're actually here for that demonstration as well. So you haven't seen Ambrose Gilbert yet?
That's Ambrose Gilbert there, right?
No, it is
My
not.
word.
Oh.
No, that is one of ours with a sense of humor.
I see. So, like, the Lord does not look like he enjoyed your little jape. And he's like, oh.
I just want to talk science. I thought you were a science man.
I don't know to talk science. I'd like to see some.
I am a science man of a sort. I mean, I have the money, and it's the duty of the elite to shepherd humanity into a new era of progress. I would like to help with that. But I want to make sure my money is going to something for real, and so far all we've done is sit here.
Are you all potential investors?
So the better dressed woman, speaks up, and she says, well, I'm a talent scout from a company, Ars Technica. So not a scientist myself, but I've got an eye for talent. We'll see what's, if he has something to offer, perhaps our company will offer him the exclusive contract.
How bad do you want this contract?
She's like, we're willing to pay for the right technology. And then the third woman's like, Celia Thompson, I'm with the Times. Who are you lot? And she gets her notebook out.
No one in particular.
Just a builder.
A builder. Anonymous. Mysterious, I like it.
I say no one in particular, but I turn, and my uniform does say Guy Saxon.
Yeah. Noted. Are you with Her Majesty's Armed Forces?
Well, yes. I'm on leave, you could say, to some degree. Indefinite.
An extended leave.
Yeah,
from
she's
my understanding.
definitely making a note to check those particulars.
I had my reasons.
All right, you get a cog for that. Working in the treason backstory, well done.
So what we understand is we're here on the ship with these three people,
Yes.
and there is nobody else around.
So there are
Some women.
passages going out, and it doesn't look like they've explored the rest of the ship. They're mostly waiting impatiently. And
I hate waiting.
Yeah,
I
me
want to
too.
go through a door.
Let's go.
yeah, so you guys are just gonna like go charging off, and like as soon as you do, the reporter Constance's like, "Oh, excellent, we're exploring. Let's go."
Yeah, so I mean,
I'll explore as it needs to find some refreshments, and then I'll take a seat. Come, let's
where
go.
would the engine room be, pilot?
I'm going to assume I can point the direction of the engine room.
Yep.
Just fine.
Let's go that direction.
Okay. So yeah, you're going there, and the reporter's kind of tagging along, like looking after you. You make it back to the engine room, and it is a mess. It is a clutter. St. John, you're seeing there is a device there. It is plugged in by all these strange, wires and things like that. There's piles of paper. There's notes, scribbled all over. You could even maybe decipher them and pick up some tech if you wanted. But really what you guys are seeing is a disheveled man just looking through drawers, like throwing things around. You do not see any kind of glowing gem. In fact, in that strange looking device, is like there's an open panel and a place that would be like just perfect
very
for one of those
gem-like,
things. Yeah, to sock it into.
Socket.
Like as you come in, he's like, yes, I'll be right with you all. I was just making some final preparations and then the demonstration will begin. Please return to the suite and enjoy some snacks. And I'll be with you all later.
Is there an open bar?
Yes, open bar. Go, just
Thank
go.
goodness.
Where's your gem there, Ambrose?
Like you can see, he's like literally like adjusting his head, like it's fine. It's just temporarily misplaced. I'm sure we'll be able to get the demonstration started soon.
Temporarily misplaced.
I don't know. It's just not here.
When was the last time you saw it?
Hours ago, I had to go out to make some preparations.
But it was here.
Yes, of course.
And who else was here?
No one.
So it got up and walked away on its own.
Well, okay. So when I came back, he looks, points at Cecilia. She was here, and so was the other woman, Constance Price. They were waiting.
Okay.
Well, we had just
All right.
arrived, so obviously it wasn't us.
Yeah.
Hang on, Constance Price. Was Constance out there?
She was.
Okay.
She was one of the. She was. Yeah.
the one,
She's the one working for a corporation.
Oh, contract. Yeah.
I didn't catch that
With
one.
Cecilia, or
right.
Celia
Yeah.
is
Celia is the
news
reporter,
person,
and she's just writing notes, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Fabulous, wealthy, fabulous, expensive items stolen.
Cecilia, hey,
Demonstration ruined.
can we look at your
Tragic
notes?
Accident."
Can we look at your notes from when you were in here before?
She's like, "What do you mean?"
I mean, you're recording everything.
I do write things down. It's a habit of mine.
And did you come back here before?
I've been waiting for hours.
Have you seen anybody else besides the two other was you were with?
Well, just that engineer.
What engineer?
Yeah, and Bruce is like, "What engineer?"
This is an occasion, Celia, where you might want to step out of your reporter's hat and help us try to track this down.
She's like, "Well, he was a rather broad fellow. He had reddish, mutton chops. You'd call it a broadside, hair. He seemed to belong here, so we didn't think anything of it."
Well,
He was
every
around.
engineer belongs here.
Yeah, Ambrose is like, "But
And
this is a one-man crew."
and he went where exactly?
He just went back into the engine room while we were out in the lobby.
Did he leave?
Yes,
With a case of some kind? I
he
imagine?
might have had an object with him.
Sure. Okay.
So what you're telling us is there was a thief.
Well, we thought that he was a member of the crew here.
We're not blaming you, Celia.
Good, because I'm blaming you, in the article at least.
I'm not blaming me.
Very well.
I could think that she's into it. I'm skeptical.
And I'm once again tired of waiting. I'm going to go find him. I'm leaving.
Yeah, as soon as like, boom, you just charge out of there. All right.
Yeah, I'll go with, because that's
Okay.
how I roll.
So yeah, you guys go back out onto the gantry. And there's the elevator. There's a lot of levels here. There weren't that many ships stopped, and you do know that there's the crews that are, moving things around. They might have seen something. How do you want to proceed with your investigation?
Where is there anyone nearby?
On this level, not really.
It's been stolen. They'll likely want to get away as quick as possible.
We should ask the peddlers.
The what?
Peddlers, they see everything.
Somehow I have the sense that anyone was around would have noticed the big,
That's a good
red-head
idea.
man.
Have a con.
All right. Are there peddlers on the...
Not on the higher levels, but you know that they would know the crews and the people, and you have a physical description.
And we could just buy a couple flowers, get some information.
Sure. That sounds reasonable.
All right, so you kind of already made a contact with the one. You go down the elevator, you kind of seek them out, and you're like, "Hey, we've got a description here." And they're like, "That'll be 5 more flowers.
4.
4 flowers would be fantastic. 10 shillings.
Sure.
Now, so the great thing
Might
is,
as well take the last flower.
Do you want a flower?
Good
I already have a
negotiation.
flower.
They don't have flowers on Mars. Do you want a flower?
What do you mean we don't have flowers on Mars?
when
Have you
there's-
been to Mars? We have flowers. They're prettier than yours.
Yeah? What do they look like then?
Do they look like red rocks?
That's
Let me
better than the
just
flowers
explain
on
this.
Luna, I'll tell you that.
So you're telling me on the planets where we have a growing wood that allows you to do half of the things that you do here, you think we don't have flowers?
Well, you've got wood, that's for sure. But I'm no skilled botanist, but I'm quite sure flowers are...
I feel like we've gotten a little off the track. We had a question for you before you shovel off and sell any more flowers.
She's like halfway out the door. Like,
we need that information.
Right. Big red-haired man. Did you come through here?
Yeah, so
Mutton chops.
Yeah, mutton chops. You describe it, and she thinks it a little bit, and she's like, "Oh, yeah, that's I gotta make sure I get the name of it. That's Daniel Walsh. He's an engineer up on the heirloom."
The heirloom ship, I take it.
Yes, the heirloom is one of the larger airships that comes in and out of here. Mostly makes the run to Europe. It's a dirigible.
Oh. Is that ship still here, by any chance?
Yeah, she goes, "Yeah, I've seen them around, so they've got to be docked. Usually there's a week between them shipping in and shipping out."
Let's go to the heirloom.
Yes.
Here's a flower, thanks.
She puts it back with the others, like, all
I
right.
don't need 4
Do
flowers.
you know how money works? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, well, and the great thing is, you guys are used to, transactions in the tens and more of pounds.
Yeah.
So shillings, like, these are just pennies. Like, this is big money to an urchin, but to you guys, there's no, like, roll or tracking or anything. It's like, look, it's a couple shilling. Who cares? You know? So.
My water bottle is misbehaving.
So back up you go to the heirloom.
Yeah, if we could find it, yeah.
Yeah, you can find it very easily. So it is a passenger ship, but it is between journeys right now. So you would know it's only going to have a skeleton crew, but it is going to have a crew, and you're not going to be invited on. So you're going to have to work at it. You're either going to need to sneak aboard somehow, or you're going to have to talk your way on. How do you guys want to approach this?
I am going to go off by myself,
Okay.
and I'm going to work on the sneaking aboard angle. So,
Okay.
So yeah, I'll be. That's my. I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm just going to try.
So you guys kind of lose track of Patra.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this little 3 foot tall, gray skinned, drobate, just kind of wanders off. You don't really see her. So the rest of you.
Great.
Someone on there is going to want this flower. I'm going to walk up. I'm wanting to use my wily trait.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And practically what I'm wanting to do is just kind of create more of a distraction. That I'm coming up here to like court someone.
Awesome. So, like you're gonna come in and you're gonna make noise and you're gonna draw this attention and it's gonna make trouble, right?
Yeah.
So the characters have traits that they can play to get more cogs. He's using the wily trait. Go ahead and read off what you have to do to get your cogs.
Make trouble for yourself, but more for someone else.
Yeah, this is gonna qualify. So you get your cog, you mark that off once a game session, you can do it. You can do it as often as you want, but I only owe you a cog once.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, you go on and you're not trying to sneak or anything, but there's a bellhop who comes up, Ellie O'Connor, she's got like the hat and the jacket, and she's kind of flustered, like, what are you doing here? The ship is closed. And she's making a ton of noise. However, the path is open for the rest of you to walk right by her and start looking through the ship. But meanwhile, she is reading you the riot act, like, what's all this?
I'm a soldier of fortune, without fortune.
Well, that's no reason to be on this ship.
Well, that was until I
Captain
saw...
Pierce would never stand for it.
That was until I saw such a fortune as you.
What kind of line is that?
The line that comes with a 2-shilling flower.
She'll take your flower. All right.
Sinjin, come on.
So, yes.
I may be
let's go.
I may be an old gun, but
yeah.
I still shoot quite well.
So, you guys are going to slip back. There's a lot of noise going on here, but you two normally would roll sneak ability to, like, creep through. You don't have to, because all this is going on. And it's kind of drawing attention.
Yeah.
I want to assist this charming.
You're gonna stay with him and like make it even more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay, enjoy yourselves. I'm going up.
Yeah. So what's gonna be great is there's going to be a little fight coming up, and these two are going to be in it, and those two are going to be like charming the.
I want to get
the
this man
bellhop.
some action.
Yeah, let's do it. So
Priorities have shifted somewhat.
he's going to be rolling charm. You, when you assist, you can roll whatever you want as long as you can justify it. How are you helping him?
More flowers.
All right. So it sounds
yeah.
like charm to me.
There's my first compliment, and for each one after, a new flower.
Yeah. So go ahead and St. John, roll me your charm, and if you succeed, he's going to get a bonus.
We got one success.
All right, perfect. So that means now, Guy, you get to roll your charm, and you got a bonus because you're being helped out with these flowers. Bonus is +1 die.
+1 die. 5 and 6.
Oh, so big 6 explodes. It keeps going.
1.
All right, yeah. So this is basically with style. You know, every time you get 2 over, like you're getting more style. It's working out for you. Like, all right, wait, she's actually not making as much noise now, and is not calling for the armed guards that might be around, or the captain who would have a pistol with him. None of that's happening. She's actually kind of falling for it, and is not making a big fuss about a stranger on the ship.
I mean, now surely you might have a place somewhere on the ship for your next voyage.
Yeah, so we'll fade to black there, and we're going to cut back to the engine room, right? And inside the engine room is going to be our dreadful Daniel. So if we could throw up just on the map so we know he's there, the redhead guy.
I am partially colorblind.
Oh, well,
That's
any,
the one.
any
That's
of
the
them's
one.
fine. And then just 3. And if they manage to hide, essentially, they're going to get free attacks and things like that. Patra's whole special ability is she can sneak through and essentially disarms that entire situation. So you're going to get there, you'd be about to walk into an ambush, and just like behind them, Patra pops up like, "Oi!" and we're gonna go into a regular fight with no one being hidden. Like there's a whole thing with hidden all that. We're gonna be able to bypass that and go straight to cards. Only 2 of you, so sorry you guys, no fights for you, but totally worth
We have a
it,
different kind of fight.
right?
Let's get this over with.
When we get into fights, you guys get a hand of orders. Orders are what we use to determine initiative. 3, 4. Daniel, the engineer, is a bad guy. He's going to get a hand of his own. And the regular bad guys are going to get a card. These cards are going to have a number on it. One's going to go first. Top of the end is 55. They would go last. Fights happen in exchanges, they're called. An exchange of words in a social situation. An exchange of gunfire on the battlefield. This is going to be like an exchange of blows. This is just a fist fight. Like they've got wrenches and their bare hands. This looks like a London street gang is hiding out in this engine room here. And you've come upon them. Changes happen in 3 rounds. You're going to, your hand of cards is your action economy. So 3 of those cards are going to be where you're going early, middle, late on those 3 rounds. The other 2 are essentially your defenses. You can burn a card to when you're attacked and hit, you would roll a save to avoid it. If you burn a card, it upgrades to a full check. Your saves are half your regular number of dice. And they're on all of your abilities. So like, you got combat 3, you're rolling 3 dice. The save's only 2 dice. But if you burn a card, it's up to 3 to try and parry or whatever. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Last thing is, the higher cards, the slower ones, 41 and up, are called power orders. And all of you've got some special abilities that you can trigger on those slower abilities. The bad guys too. And this is one of the things that makes different conflicts play out different ways. Because if the bad guy gets the power order, they're going to do something special and weird. So, I'm going to draw one regular, like the bad guy, the pawns, the gang members, they just get an order. I don't get to pick it and all that. The main bad guy is going to pick one. And we pick one, set it down, and this is going to be round one of the exchange. Now we reveal them. All right, so he's going on 12. You're going on 23, 24, the bad guys. So you're going to beat them to the punch. Tracy picked a power order.
Yes.
So way at the back, but whatever it is could be spectacular. All right. So 12's going to go first.
I just want to apologize ahead of time to you for a particular distinction you have.
Distinctions are your basically special abilities.
Okay.
That's gonna come up. Oh, welcome, Mike.
And this is perfect for this situation because I'm in the back and I'm just like, hey-oh. But I have this innocent distinction, which means I'm not usually going to be targeted unless I provoke them.
Okay. So they're gonna turn around, and look at you, and be like, "What are you doing here?"
Or they
Instead of
just don't even know
attacking.
I'm there.
Right. Yeah, they don't even really register as there. Right.
All right, let's do this.
So a bunch of guys are gonna come swinging at you. The big bad guys coming first, and you
Let's
notice.
see what you can do.
Unlike the others who are basically just thugs with bare hands, he's actually wearing a steam gauntlet. Like it's just like this kind of armored fist, and there's pressure going, and he's gonna like come up, bam, and try and give you a punch. I'm gonna roll his combat.
Uh-oh.
I got 2 5s. Now, you can make a combat save of 2 dice. If you want to burn one of your cards to upgrade it to your full combat, you certainly can. You can also roll, and you can choose your cogs. You can make all those decisions after you roll.
Yes.
So-
All right. Let's just see what happens with the normal save. Terrible. Thank you.
yeah, that's terrible. So right now he's bonking you. If you're gonna spend a cog, I would go ahead and upgrade to get the 3rd die.
Yeah, I would take one of those cards and spend it first.
All right.
There you go. Middle end card is a good one. So you're throwing this away to upgrade your save to active defense, essentially.
Well.
Oh, still not blocking 2 5s.
3 4s.
Gonna let it go or spend another cog?
What does HP look like in this system?
Yeah, so let's talk about damage. So different weapons do different types of damage. Some, like this steam gauntlet is going to do what's called stagger damage.
Okay.
And whenever you're hit by something that does that like crushing blow damage, and again, there's a lot of choices, right? Normally, it will take your cards. If you are out of cards or you don't want to let go of your card, it will knock you out.
Okay.
Anytime you're knocked out, as a hero, you've got the option to say, I am going to keep fighting on. Instead of getting knocked out, you take an injury, I will roll the danger die
That's a big die.
and see what happens. The worst result is you are killed.
Okay.
Most of the results are not lethal, but it's a risk. So your choice, lose hemorrhage cards, not get to act, or risk the danger die.
And when do we get additional cards?
At the end of the exchange, after 3, everyone gets a new hand.
Okay.
So if you get tagged by this, you're practically kind of
right.
staggered and out of the fight.
Have another cog.
Gonna
then.
try to,
Certainly
yeah.
would-
Love it. Yeah.
I got a.
Oh, there you go. So, there you go. And a 6.
Oh, and a 6 explodes.
Yes.
Hey!
You beat him. So, yeah, it was costly, right? This huge fist comes swinging down. You parry, you move to the side. You're good at this, right? You're a pirate. You're used to this.
One would hope.
Wham! And that was his action. 23. You go before his thugs.
I have 2 pistols. Can I shoot him twice?
You
Or
can't.
once.
Yes. You're just like, nope. Bam.
Someone brought a fist to a gunfight.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. So, here's the interesting thing. If you're in close range, he's going to be blocking with his parry.
Mhm.
If you're distant, then he's going to have to dodge with his dash. So you might want to back away because you got wings. You just fly up, as much as the ceiling up.
Sure.
Bam, bam.
Yeah. That sounds like a good move.
Outstanding.
Hard for him to get me up there.
Yeah. So you're gonna float up, boom, like. Go ahead. if you want to use both, here's how multi-actions work. You can spend an extra card to do a second attack.
I'd like to get ahead of this.
Love it. Yep, you're like, boom, boom. So go ahead and roll me combat for the first one.
Combat for the first. 2 hits.
2 hits. He is going to try to dodge. Not his strong suit. Nope. All right. Go ahead and roll the other
Second.
one.
1 hit.
1 hit. He's going to try to dodge. Nope. All right.
I rolled 2 ones.
So,
Bad at this.
that, as a bad guy, and if a good guy gets shot, guns cause more injuries. Where you had the choice before, now it's just go down or roll an injury. On the first one, I'm going to risk it. He's going to take an injury. Because I don't want to roll the danger die.
Yeah. Everyone wants you to roll the danger die.
12's pretty good. 12. Battered. Oh, so he's staggered, which means he loses a card.
Ooh.
And bleeding. So bleeding means he could just die anyway. The other option when you take an injury, which on the second bullet he's going to take, is you can just go down. Basically, for the most part in this game, you'll only die if you push your luck and risk it. He's going to stop pushing his luck. Down he goes. There are still a couple of thugs. They're going to try and get revenge. I'm just going to throw a couple attacks at you. Then we'll let Patrick get her revenge, and then we're pretty much wrapping up because it's the end of the scenario. So they're rolling as a group. Oh. All right, so that's 3 stat. That's 5 successes essentially.
Well,
6s count as 2 successes, so you might be able to get away with it.
go big or go home.
Yeah.
Up to 3.
Yep.
1, 2,
Oh my God.
2.
2. So, and the great thing is you can keep the 2 6s
2.
and just re-roll the one that didn't. Yeah. All right. So, you got everything. It's 1 regular hit. Do you have any cards left to give up?
I do. Be out of cards. But
You would be out of cards on the first round, but spoiler alert, this is going to be a real short fight.
yeah, I
So yeah, instead of getting knocked out, like you're staggered, like you lose your ability, to really fight back. You're empty. They're on you. They're gonna pound you, but then 50 comes up. Power action.
Okay, well, I had a plan, but you've taken out the big guy. I had a distinction that I can basically try to steal order cards from
Yeah,
them.
yeah. So she's a telepath, and her big thing is she can read their minds and literally steal orders out of their hands.
Yes,
Yeah.
but since he's not really in the fight anymore, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot my Derringer.
There you go. Yeah, you just come up and does bam, and let him have it.
Okay, so
And we'll say you're hidden, so this will be a surprise attack too.
so 6. So 1 6 I got.
All right. On a scrub, when they're hit with a firearm, there's no choice. They're just down, maybe dead. I'm gonna stop the fight there because these are not, high-end villains. These are basically street toughs, and they're getting shot at, and they're like, "We brought a wrench to this fight. Forget it." So they're running. They leave the gym. You guys easily get it back. You're still you hear gunfire, so you guys would have been running in. One of the things about the exchanges and why that they bring to the table is at the end of 3 rounds, you get the condition change. If we would be going into more combat, whatever is going to whatever's going to change would happen. That would be when reinforcements would arrive, or if they would have something special up their sleeve, that would trigger them.
yeah.
And that's what they're for. Meanwhile, you've gotten the gym back.
That was tedious. Let's go.
You get back to the ship. He's ecstatic to find it. He reinstalls it, gets it all in there, and he's like, right. Hopefully those flying lessons paid off, and this demonstration will be smooth and excellent.
Sir, we do have a pilot aboard.
Oh, we do?
Yes.
We do, if she would be amenable. I don't mean to volunteer your services, but flying lessons?
I'm not a fan.
You're right.
Oh, that would be excellent.
It's the wheel.
All right, so here's the cool thing. So you're going to basically just do a roll to, not crash the ship. It's discipline is what you use to pilot ships and do certain military things. So it's going to be your discipline roll. This would require Ether. if Sinjin, who has Ether, assists you, you count as having that cascade.
Cool.
So go ahead and give me probably science to assist her.
Yeah, sorry.
Yep.
Game board stuff.
Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah. Alright, and explode.
Nice.
Alright.
So you're a bonus and no penalty because
Yeah.
you don't need the Ether.
Yeah,
So-
one
So wait,
extra die.
no, one extra die. Yes.
One extra die. Bonus is always plus one die. And
Yes.
very good.
2.
There you go. And his device gives the roll advantage, which means you can re-roll it just as if you had a cog.
Excellent.
But
We
you don't need it. You got it. The ship takes off. It's a smooth flight. You know, everyone's impressed. Both the Lord and the woman from the company are very interested in the device. Do you guys want to nudge him towards one or the other?
From what I understand, I'm kind of nudging him toward the Lord.
That's probably the right choice in this case because he's more interested in sharing the technology,
Yeah.
getting it out there
From
for
what he
people
said,
to use.
I was, yeah.
Whereas she wants to keep it more, tight. So yeah, it all that happens. He pays off the thing. You get the glow item back for the Empyrean Society. You guys get access to the patent out of it, which means as a scientist, you could actually build this now if you can find the items necessary for it. And when you guys go into space, it could come in handy. And at the end of it, you're kind of brought back into the office, and Dr. Shaw, is you're kind of asking how it went. And it's like, I don't know if the news report on this is going to be very good, but
Yeah,
you
you
got
come in. I'm like beat up.
Yeah.
It
That
went
was a
fine.
lower priority.
Yes, but I'm so glad you did. Well done, everyone. I wonder if any of you would be interested in a trip to Mars.
Yes, so I can see very little flowers.
Well, I might be the guy for you.
And that's where we'll end. That's Hey, we've got some loot to give away too, don't we?
Yes, we have giveaways.
Yeah.
All right, so what I've got here is these 10 20s. They're metallic D20s that you assemble. If anyone wants one, I'll roll an injury for you or a ship critical hit on riding, and you'll get a D20.
Well, that's a
for
good
it.
idea.
Who wants to try their luck? Yeah! All right, you want to come roll it?
Roll the giant die.
Yeah!
Giant die.
You want to... Oh! No, that's good. 20,
Not 20 for
20 is
me.
high. That means no injury at all. You come through completely unharmed and suffer no injury. Well done. That's the risk reward. Anybody else want to give it a try? Yeah! You want to roll or want me to roll for you? Oh, I'm sorry. All right, let's get some mojo on this. 16, that's another high one. You're only shaken, so you would lose your card, but that's it. And you get one of these. I'm going to throw it. I'm going to hope not to take someone's eye out. Anyone else who hasn't got one? Ooh. Oops. Yeah! 16, same result. Come on, I want a good one. I want somebody to die. Whoa! Anyone else? Last one. Yeah! You want an injury or a ship critical hit? Injury. 13. Gouged. You're bleeding. The way the bleeding status works, at the end of the exchange, you got to roll your endurance. And if you don't make it, you're down. If you're already down, you die. All right. That's the intro to Space 1889. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Darrell.
Yeah. If anyone, especially old fans or new fans, want to know more, if you see me around the convention, please do not hesitate. Stop me, talk to me. Happy to share everything we're working on. And thank you for having us on this.
Yes.
And thank you all. You were awesome players.
Thank you, everyone.